I'm about to show you what the most protected president security looks like. These leaders are surrounded by bulletproof cars, elite forces, and layers of defense you wouldn't believe. Everything from rooftop snipers to underground bunkers. But not every president lives in luxury or hides behind walls of guards. So let's kick things off with the world's poorest president, José Mujica of Uruguay. José Mujica lived in a tiny shack in the middle of nowhere and refused to step foot in the presidential palace. His ride? A beat-up 1987 Beetle he drove everywhere with zero security. This dude was basically a regular guy, even while being the president. Now let's talk about the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, cause this guy is no joke. Wherever he goes, he's flanked by one of Europe's most elite security teams. Armored convoys, motorcades shutting down streets, and guards armed to the teeth. They even use bicycles to patrol tight areas, making sure no threat can ever get close. But you'd think with that level of security he'd be invincible, right? Nope. Macron has been taking hits left, right, and center, from getting slapped across the face by a random person to having eggs thrown at him. Despite all the protection, he's basically a walking target. Alright, let's talk about Egypt's president, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, because his approach to showing off military strength is different. Most world leaders flex their power with missiles, warplanes, or massive motorcades. But Sisi? He went with baby oil. No joke. Instead of tanks, this guy put his soldiers in what looked like a bodybuilding competition. Stripped down, greased up, and lined up like it's Mr. Olympia. Military edition. Honestly, it feels less like a parade and more like something Diddy would try to host at a pool party. But here's the thing. Underneath all the shine and flexing, these guys are no joke. They're still one of the toughest and most disciplined militaries in the region. Think getting close to a president is hard? Try sneaking within shouting distance of a king. Over in England, they treat royal security like an Olympic sport. Buckingham Palace isn't a house, it's a multi-billion-dollar fortress wearing designer wallpaper. Iron gates, layers of guards, CCTV eyes everywhere. And those royal guards? They're not just for the Instagram shots. They're full-time soldiers on full display, trained, armed, and absolutely not messing about. Step out of line and you'll find out quick. These aren't extras, they're the real deal. And the cavalry? The horses are basically armored celebrities. Massive, disciplined, and surprisingly intimidating when they decide to move. When it comes to paranoia and power, nobody does it like Kim Jong-un. This guy's security game is on another level. It's not protection, it's obsession. You can't just walk near him. You need background checks, clearance, and probably a full investigation into your grandparents. And when he finally steps out of his palace, he's rolling with a mini army in suits. About a dozen men, wired up with earpieces, matching ties and sneakers, ready for a 100-meter sprint. These aren't your average bodyguards either. They're personally chosen for their loyalty, speed, and fear. Yeah, fear of failing him. Because when you work for Kim, one mistake doesn't just cost your job. It might cost a lot more. He doesn't just rule North Korea, he rules the people standing right next to him. When it comes to President Putin, his security isn't just tight. It's on another planet. The guy's got protection everywhere. Land, air, maybe even space at this point. His private jet doesn't just take off. It gets escorted by fighter jets like he's leading a war mission. And sometimes they'll even send out decoy planes just to throw off any possible threats. Then there's his motorcade, a convoy of black armored beasts that roll through the streets like a moving fortress. Every route is cleared, every street is locked down, and no detail is left to chance. And don't even get me started on his bodyguards. These dudes look like they were trained to stop a tank with their bare hands. Just look at that moment when McGregor put his arm around Putin. You can practically feel the tension from his security team ready to pounce. He barely even needs bodyguards. Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya isn't just Guinea's president. He's the head of the country's elite special forces. Like, how many world leaders do you know who are their own security detail? This guy rolls around looking like he's ready to lead an invasion, not a cabinet meeting. Doumbouya and his men are always kitted out head to toe in tactical gear. We're talking assault rifles, bulletproof vests, and enough firepower to make a whole army nervous. Even his casual strolls around town look more like a military operation than a presidential appearance. And when he's not leading the nation or flexing his authority, he's literally flexing. The man's workout sessions look like a full-blown training camp, sometimes with a convoy of soldiers cycling right alongside him. It's safe to say, nobody's messing with this president. But one man who definitely can't risk going for a casual jog in public is Donald Trump. Because let's be real, the guy's been one of the most controversial figures on the planet for years, and that means security for him is no joke. For Trump, there's no such thing as too much protection. While most presidents get around 80 Secret Service agents, Trump rolls with nearly 300. That's right, bodyguards, counter-sniper teams, surveillance units, and full-blown tactical squads all locked in 24/7. Basically, if danger even thinks about showing up, it's already surrounded. And when Trump reclaimed the presidency in 2024, his security only leveled up. Even his golf trips come with an army of agents spread across the course. Talk about over-par security. When it's time to unwind, he retreats to his pride and joy, Mar-a-Lago, a resort so secure it might as well be classified as a fortress.
Coast Guards.
Armed guards, drone patrols, and yes, even robot dogs now keep watch around the clock. Xi Jinping doesn't really do low-key. This guy isn't just a world leader. He's basically the boss of the largest army on the planet. We're talking over 2 million soldiers ready to move at his command. That's not a security team, that's a small nation armed to the teeth. Just take a look at China's 70th anniversary military parade. That thing looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. Tanks, fighter jets, intercontinental missiles, if it could roll, fly, or explode, it was there. You half expected a Death Star to hover over Tiananmen Square. And when it comes to Xi himself, everything about him screams control. Even his translators need clearance just to speak for him. Like, bro, we get it. You're the big boss. But when you run one of the most powerful countries on Earth, being the ultimate Sigma means you don't take any chances.